My name is Andrea Schmucki, and this is my story. I was raised in a Christian home on a small farm not far from here. I was saved and baptized at the age of 9 and active in our Baptist church. So my story isn't about how I came to know Jesus or to be saved, but how I came to really know and trust him through various seasons in my life. The most enduring theme or season in my life has been my career trajectory. I always was a great student. I had other talents like singing, playing the piano, sewing, and art, but over time I felt that God called me to be a physician. I was a determined student and gradually diminished the use of my other gifts as I trained to be a physician at Johns Hopkins University. I pursued excellence in caring for others, and this was a season of becoming prepared for the career that I knew God had called me to do. I met and married my husband, Bob. He was also a successful IT professional who came from a no-nonsense Catholic farm family. Mercifully, God led us to grow together in faith, and the foundational belief of our shared faith was coming to an understanding of the goodness and the power of God. We both pursued our careers. I practiced for many years as a physician and then a public health officer. I knew I was designed and called for this profession. I was good at my job, my patients loved me, and I shared my faith wherever possible. I won awards for leadership and for public service. The pinnacle of this career season came when I was appointed as the first and only female chair of the Maryland Board of Physicians. I felt that God had prepared me to lead other physicians, and I was glorifying him. But it required even longer hours of work and time away from home. Self-sacrifice is what I had come to expect of myself and now of my family. Eventually, this pace started to take its toll. When I was asked to serve another 2 years, I declined. In my spirit, I knew that I could not continue to work in that capacity and intensity. So I returned to my normal 50 hours a week day job. Meanwhile, Bob and I had 3 sons, and we were committed to raising our sons in church. It wasn't always easy, but we were putting in the effort, especially Bob. He became a leader in a boys' youth program in our church. We both served on foreign mission trips. We eventually followed a call to leave our familiar church to establish this boys' youth program in another, smaller local church. We agreed on the importance of being obedient to God's call, and this was a season of great effort to keep ourselves and our sons busy doing just that. However, it also turned out to be a season of difficulty in relationships. Conflict resolution, open communication, and patience were not our strong points. Working hard and bucking up under pressure were our strong points. We held ourselves to very high expectations of performance, and we expected others to match our drive. When things did not work out as we thought God wanted them to, we would become frustrated, impatient, and critical. Satan used our disappointments to attack our marriage and our family and our relationships. This obediently busy season came to a head with a series of great personal strains. My father died of a rapidly progressive ALS. Bob's brother died suddenly in a car accident. Our efforts to start the boys' youth program were failing. We spent more time apart than together and neglected our own feelings and needs. We were exhausted. Our family was hurting. We were ready to give up on each other and on our roles in the church. And there was another problem. I had an abnormal mammogram and was scared. In the fall of 2015, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. I needed several surgeries, radiation, chemotherapy. During the workup, an abnormal lymph node and biopsy showed a second type of cancer, lymphoma. It is fairly rare and almost unbelievable to have 2 different types of cancer at once, at the age of 46. I was overwhelmed with anxiety and some guilt. I wondered, had I veered so severely from his will that I could not recover? But spiritually, I drew closer to God, more so than ever before. I drew on the foundation of our faith, which was the belief in the power of God, the power of prayer, and the power of calling out to Jesus' name. I believed in his power to save, heal, redeem, and forgive. God used this season of sickness, of 2 cancers, to say to me, get over yourself. My life was not my own to screw up or to fix. I didn't have that kind of power, and it was not within my medical knowledge. God had my attention, and he was in control. This season is also when God led us to Oak Ridge Church. We arrived wounded with little capacity to serve anyone else. God answered our prayers and our needs through the people and the purpose of this church. We truly needed hope and healing in our home. As my treatments progressed and my health improved, God gave me new opportunities to serve in music, in the tech team, and on the worship team. Bob became a speaker in the Ridge, and our sons began to serve as well. I took the Boundaries class through the Solutions Ministry. For 3 years, God helped me and our family go through cancer, sending our first son to college, renewing our faith and our determination to serve him. Perhaps the biggest surprise to me was that he guided me to take a break from my career in medicine and focus on our family. This included homeschooling our youngest son. Bob and I had a chance to take him on the first hurricane relief mission trip that we took to Texas. So God gave me a chance to use talents that I had not used in decades, and I am so grateful for this season of healing and renewal. Then in October of last year, my mother died suddenly while visiting my sister out of state. I thank God she was a woman of faith and ready for heaven. But within a few weeks of her death, while still deep in grief, I started having tremendous physical pain. I was soon diagnosed with a recurrence of the 2 separate cancers, breast and lymphoma, both stage 4. For these things, medicine does not promise a cure. Instead, remission or no evidence of disease is the goal. From November to April, I completed 6 months of chemo and immunotherapy and responded very well to the treatments, in fact, miraculously. There have been innumerable blessings and miracles, but I will share just one now. When I had completed the first treatment, Caleb, one of our sons, expressed interest in going on the Macedonia mission trip and wanted me to consider going too. The first treatment had helped to relieve some pain, so I was able to attend an interest meeting, but I was frankly skeptical about whether I would be able to go. After hearing more about the trip, I discussed it with Bob, and we realized that there were aspects of this trip that we had been specifically equipped to do, including an outreach to a local hospital and assistance with the very same boys' youth program that we had sought to grow locally. With prayer, we knew that this trip was for our family. We had to commit to the trip shortly after my second chemo, before I had any scans to show response. But we knew if God had called us and equipped us, that he would make a way for this trip, and he did. My treatments ended in April, and my scans showed remission of both cancers in May. So 5 weeks after finishing chemo, 3 weeks after a clear scan, we were in Macedonia. And it was a blessing in many ways. not the least of which was to fulfill a long-held dream of ours to serve on mission trips with each of our sons. So what is this season I'm in now? I don't know. I don't know yet. I'm a patient, learning to be patient, and placing my full reliance on God. And this journey in faith has given me so much. I've spent a lifetime leaning on my own understanding. But I now understand deeply and personally that my hope is not at the altar of medicine, but on the altar of the King of the universe. I no longer have a false sense of entitlement to my time and my life. We are not promised tomorrow. Jesus said, "Take up your cross and follow me." He didn't say, "Wait until your cross is fixed," or expect that your cross will disappear so you can come with me. What I think he meant was, I know you have that cross. Pick it up. Carry it with you. Come with me anyway, and you will see. When we step out in faith and walk with him, he eases the weight of our burden, even as we feel that it threatens to overwhelm us. God gave me tools and people to relieve grief through the Grief Share class here in the Solutions Ministry, which I highly recommend. I have a deeper understanding about how to love others, because God is love. The greatest commandment is to love one another. Love is patient, forgiving, kind, and always sees the good in us. That means God is all those things, and he wants us to be too. The critical spirit which hindered my relationships is defeated, and I crave to be an example of his unconditional love. I certainly know more about gratitude. I'm thankful for the lessons of the seasons of my life so far. I want to continue to show the power of God in me. I want to respond in obedience with whatever God calls me to do, to be here for my husband, my sons, my family, my friends, my church, and offer whatever I have to be a miracle for someone else and to be grateful for every day. Thank you.